Welcome to Jerseys and Jail Cells, where we explore the stories behind the game, the victories, the challenges, and the decisions that shape careers. I'm Corey Raftery, here to guide you through the world of athletes, teams, and the choices that define them. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Jerseys and Jail Cells here on the YouTube channel Raftery Productions. I'm your host, Corey Raftery, and today we are going to be looking at the case of Dani Alves. Now, this case is interesting, and it is in the topic realm of SA, so if you are sensitive to this topic, please click away and or skip over the episode parts that you don't want to hear. Now, let's take a look at what this case is about. Dani Alves is a soccer player, or football, if you're over in the other side of the pond, who was convicted of SA at a VIP bathroom in Barcelona. And what is so interesting about this case is that initially he was convicted of this crime, and then there was some evidence that said otherwise. Now, let's take a look at what happened. This situation between this 23-year-old woman, Barcelona woman, and Dani Alves, they were supposedly talking between each other, and they ended up finding each other attractive, essentially. And what is being said on Dani Alves' side was that there was consent. It was consensual action going on between the two of them, and the woman, on the other hand, saying that it was SA. Now, when we look at the evidence, initially it did seem that the woman was telling the truth, that she did in fact have this happen to her, because she had trauma, and she had medical bills, and she had injuries, and she had friends and family that could attest to the fact that she was visibly distressed after what happened in the bathroom. And then all of a sudden, about a year and a half later, an appealer came in and saw this case and was like, "Wait a minute, there's a bunch of inconsistencies in this case, and there's a lot of things that were contradicting to what this woman was saying about Dani Alves and this interaction in the VIP bathroom." And then they ended up finding CCTV camera footage saying otherwise, which was that it showed both of them interacting really politely and pleasantly, and there was really no visible footage that you could see that showed the lady was in any way distressed or forced to do anything. And that alone was enough evidence to overturn this conviction ultimately. And Dani Alves was eventually released from prison on a $1 million bond, or 1 million euro bond. And because of that, the victim side, the women's side of the aisle, is currently trying to still appeal this overturning, because this woman truly thinks that this is what happened, but the CCTV footage says otherwise. But then again, there is no footage, obviously, for good reasons, inside of this personal area of a private bathroom. But right now, Dani Alves is currently trying to make a return back to football or soccer, and he is also, in this instance, after the 6-month period of playing soccer or football, he will become eventually a owner of a team at some point in the near future. Now, why is this case relevant now? Well, it's only fairly recent that this happened, and he just only recently got out in 2024 and made his announcement to return to soccer in late 2025. But as of right now, there's still nothing being said from Dani Alves' side as far as when he's going to be making that return. But to recap, there was not enough evidence that could show that this lady's case was true, and he ended up being released and is now back to his normal life of hopefully getting back into the realm of soccer. Now, we have to take these cases with a grain of salt, because there is two sides of the story, and there is things that aren't shown for good reason. But we also have to take a look at one final thing before the end of the episode that I wanted to really take a look at, and that was the Stefan Diggs case. Now, I wanted to update you guys on what was going on with that, if you guys aren't up to date with what's happened with it. Stefan Diggs ultimately was found not guilty for strangulation with that incident with his chef, and he is now trying to return back to football, but obviously, because of regulations and standards of the NFL, he has to go on a certain time period suspension because of what was going on around this case. But that is all I have for you folks for this week's episode of your Jerseys and Jail Cells here on the YouTube channel Raftery Productions. I'm your host, Corey Raftery. Have a good one and take care.